welcome to the Get At Gaming Plus podcast. This is season 3, episode 13. I am one of your hosts today, Alex, alongside Ben over here across the internet, across the city, technically. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing great. I'm over cold weather. It's just stupid.
Same here. I like it when it's like, because it was like warm for a tiny bit for like 2 of those days, and then it was like right back. You want some snow? Here's some snow. Um, but I feel like we have a pretty fun packed show today. We're gonna be talking about some Zelda news. Kingdom Hearts has its 20th anniversary today, I guess technically on the day that we're recording, or maybe it was yesterday. Well, actually, no. I guess it was the 28th. But still, Kingdom Hearts' 20th anniversary here, and also the big news topic over here, which is the PlayStation Plus and all the changes, the breaking news that happened, because yeah, we generally like to record on a certain day, so then we get all the news, and thankfully the PlayStation news broke when it did. I was kind of scared that we were gonna miss it, and then
Yeah.
we'd have to either wait or make like a special like podcast just about it, something like that. But yeah, again, this is season 3, episode 13, where we just talk about all these cool things. We talk about video games. We talk about anime sometimes. We did once. It was fun. But we also talk about like movies and other things like that. And if you like that, you can definitely go to, now you can, youtube.com slash get at it gaming, or it might be usually, I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna try this out. We're gonna try this out right now. Live on here. youtube.com slash get at it gaming. Yep, that's how it is. It does it.
That.
Yeah, so if you go there, you can catch our video, see our lovely faces that way in a video podcast format. If you hate our faces, you can definitely just listen to us as you normally do on audio. Through, yeah, I mean, you never know. They might hate our faces.
I do want to give a shout out to Safety Tips for Gorillas. They are they're a YouTube channel, and I know him very personally. It's my child, and I said, hey, help us out. We're trying to get 100 subscribers on YouTube, and he blew it out the water because within 24 hours we had hit our goal. But also, everybody that was on Facebook that I just put a thing on Facebook that came and helped us there. Thank you to you as well. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I think what was it, like 126 is what we're at right now.
I'm looking at it right now. I can 132.
Wow, 132. So it just keeps on going, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I need to make a better banner, but but otherwise, they were like, hey, if you want a custom URL, you gotta make a banner. I was like, okay, logo.
Yep.
Just something temporary, until it works well. Yeah, how we normally start the show, besides just going to random tangents, we like to talk about what we've been playing, or our like hidden trophies, like things that we picked up throughout the week. Ben, what do you want to talk about? Do you have anything trophies?
Yeah, I'm hoping next week, and I've already talked to Alex about it, and once it happens, if I get this movie, I will definitely be using that as my hit of the week. But right now I have, as I'm showing people on the video, I got Puss in Boots for NES. Now this is the Japanese anime Puss in Boots. This is not Antonio Banderas. I bought this. I'm not gonna say where I bought it from, but the auction place I bought it from, I paid $5 for it.
All right.
They have rooms, and there's like, you can see how many people are in the rooms, and I typically go to the room with the less people in it. And $5, no one wanted it. So super ecstatic about that to add to my collection. I am now at 268 NES games. which is no small feat. Um, I actually had a friend of ours actually offer me a money amount for what I had.
Really?
I put down.
Huh.
Um, I won't tell you the money amount because I promised I wouldn't, but we all know me that I don't hold promises very well.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that it was way more than I thought it was worth. So,
Huh.
besides this, I have been on Halo getting very agitated. So, I've been doing ranked matches. And unfortunately, if you don't bring your own team, you are totally screwed. So
Yeah.
now that Alex over here has a brand new Xbox, I don't know if I was allowed to say that, but I did. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I mean, I don't have anything to show for that.
Uh,
Yeah.
but now that you have one, we can get me, you, Spencer. That's a pretty solid team.
I mean, I can play it on PC. I have it. I have it on PC. It's just I don't know. There's just something about playing something on an Xbox. It just feels a lot nicer.
Yeah, I need to get a team together. I have discovered in any first person shooter where you have teams, to move anywhere in ranked, you need to play with a team. It's just the way it works. So, uh, really short this week. I didn't really have a lot. Just those watching my buddies stream. That's pretty much my week. How about you, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, the things I've done, things I've got, Xbox Series X arrived yesterday. Yesterday? Day Tuesday? Yeah. Um, so yeah, it arrived yesterday. FedEx and yeah, it's really nice. I already have Game Pass Ultimate, so it was just a matter of just downloading things that I want, and I don't care about my old saves or anything from my previous Xbox One, so I just started fresh. Things I downloaded were Halo 5 because I never played it. Um, I played all the other ones like in story modes, and I want to play the newest Infinite story mode. So need to catch up. Need to play some Halo 5 first. I didn't realize Nathan Fillion was in that game, just as
Yep,
himself. Like it's his face and everything. I've only done the first mission where you play as the ODST and then you go to Chief. But yeah, that game honestly it's not bad. From what I played. I downloaded Dragon Quest 11S Definitive because it's on Game
nice.
Pass. I downloaded Final Fantasy 13 on Game Pass because I've been wanting to go back to that game because I went back to 15, as you all know, where I didn't like 15 when that first came out, and then I waited a few years and they fixed it or whatever, and then I went back to it and I loved it. So I don't know if it'll be the same with this game per se, but like I hear like the story is interesting and stuff in 13 at least. If it's not a great game, who knows? But at least I'm gonna just actually give it a chance because I remember the combat system being good later on. Right now, it's not. Right now, it's just auto battle. But
Yeah,
yeah, I downloaded that. Let's see, Flight Simulator. I got on there. It crashed into my old house on accident. Because like I guess I don't want to give out locations, but like um the campus around here, like you can even like do their airport and start there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so then you can go off and then go anywhere you want. Um I haven't done any story mode stuff. I've just really just done free play where they're just like, "All right, you're in a plane. Now take off." And then they're like, "Go this way." And then I just go somewhere else. I just fly over our city. um and try to figure out like what things are because like some things seem correct, but then other streets I'm just like, what is this? Like this is just kind of generic at certain points. um but yeah, definitely Xbox Series X is definitely a cool system. um I only have Game Pass. I have maybe a couple Xbox One games and maybe some 360 games still. Um, but overall, like this is probably a Game Pass machine right now, unless like I get some really good deals, either like Black Friday or something, where it's just like, oh, this game's really cheap and it's cheaper on here than PlayStation. Sure. we always talk about it, at least we used to, about different like people who we follow, and one of the people, I mean, one of the groups that really inspired us creating podcasts were like Greg Miller and all those kind of people. And
Absolutely.
one person who I trust a lot on that team is Tim Geddes. And I remember when the Series X came out, or a little afterwards, he said that he always played his third party games and all that on Xbox because it does look and run better. Then afterwards, you can go and play everything like your exclusives and stuff on PlayStation. And I'm starting to see it. Because like certain games just seem to just look a lot nicer, and honestly the Xbox compared to PS5, it just looks a lot nicer. I had to There was a special like app in there that could change the HDR, and you just like adjust it, like, and there's like so many different like adjustments where it's just like make sure this is correct now, make sure like you can barely see this, and it's more than was on PlayStation, so it's really in depth, plus the game mode turned on, which you're supposed to have on, and it pops. Uh at first I thought it was messed up, but then I realized my TV turned off game mode when I put in a HD blue, or not HD Blu-ray, whatever, yeah, the 4K Blu-rays. Movie that I always test now with 4K is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because it
That's
has really good colors and popping and all that kind of stuff. Like the frame rate's weird and stuff in that movie, but like everything else about it makes it a good showcase for sound and all that kind of stuff.
I use, believe it or not, I use Black Panther is what I use
Mm,
because I own that in 4K. And when they're going to Wakanda, there are so many colors.
hmm.
It just pops. So I'm planning to get one at some point. I need to get off the fact that I'm not going to get the Halo version.
Yeah,
Um, I priced a couple out, and my wife was like, "No," um, and there's no difference in the systems except it's printed a little. It's got the Halo look to it, and it comes with the Halo controller.
hmm,
Um, but I will get one at some point because I mean I have Game Pass now, and I love it. I don't picture
yeah.
myself buying anything different, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And another benefit to the Xbox, it's probably going to be my home, like my living room system, honestly. I might move the PlayStation here or there for streaming. But at least the Xbox is definitely going to stay in the living room because it's a computer. It has better stuff on there as far as like streaming goes. Like it has more options. It has Retro Crush. It has High Dive, which is like that anime thing for like Sentai stuff, so I can watch Lupin. It has I don't know, like a the UI and stuff for apps seem to be more intuitive on Xbox for the most part.
Yeah,
Compared to
I
other
mean,
things. So
my S is my S that I have. I have the Xbox One S, and
mhm,
it legitimately is just for 4Ks.
mhm.
You know, um, to look at the price of what an Xbox One S was compared to buying a 4K Blu-ray player, it was night and day. I mean,
Yeah.
and to be honest, I think that is probably one of the top 4K Blu-ray players out there.
Oh, sure,
I'm
it has to be because like it has even HDR, and not
yeah,
everything has HDR.
and I would probably say playing a movie on the new one would be better than an S. It's just better
Oh yeah,
hardware.
it's funny like when you put in a disc and stuff, and I accidentally like went to like the weird like I guess YouTube calls it, like when YouTube calls it like stats for nerds, where you can like
Yeah,
see all like the bit rates and stuff like that. I accidentally went to a screen while playing 4K Blu-ray, and I had those stats where it was showing me like the bit rate of reading the Blu-ray disc. I was like, this is cool.
yeah. I mean, I don't buy a lot of 4Ks. I think the last one I bought, well, it was the Transformers. It was that Steelbook anniversary of Transformers, the
Mhm.
movie, the original. And I will tell you, uh, I've watched it in many different formats. That's the best looking format.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of times the Autobots changed colors because there was not good animation,
Yeah.
but on this version, they don't.
Okay.
So and it's just the best quality you can get,
Cool.
even though it's like a very old movie, 35 years,
Yeah, for sure.
old as dirt.
I mean, I have Lupin on 4K, The Castle of Cagliostro, and that movie's like 70s. So,
That's
like,
crazy how
yeah,
old that
and
is.
it's 4K HDR. It's been touched up by those beautiful people over at Discotheque. Um, and yeah, I have like maybe like 4Ks Blu-rays, but like I'm definitely that's the new thing that I'm buying. Like if I find something, if it's available in that, that's what I'm gonna buy it for. Because
You
why
need to
not?
watch, Ready Player One in 4K.
Oh
It
yeah,
looks amazing. Yeah, I remember that. That's the first one I bought in 4K.
I've Scott Pilgrim in 4K because they released that on 4K. So like
No, really good.
the it looks good, and then also the sound is really good too because
Oh,
it's
I bet, yeah.
it's more uncompressed. But anyway, um, I forget what was it me talking? I guess it was me talking, and we got
Yeah,
kind of distracted. Um,
always go on these tangents, but you know what? This is a conversational podcast.
yeah,
That's what
for
we do.
sure. As I look on my ground and find $30, I was actually trying to look for this Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I also picked that up over the weekend. I streamed a little bit of it. Even though I was like, I'm not gonna buy this game, and then I did.
Yeah,
I had a gift card, so like that was my justification for it. So the demo is bad. The demo is not good. It's really boring. It showcases stuff fine. It's cute, whatever, but it's just generic powers, and it's not great. It doesn't showcase the actual game. When you play the game, it's really cool. Um, yes, those levels were still not super great, like the ones that they showed initially. But there's like really cool upgrades where you can get blueprints in certain stages, and you can use those to upgrade your abilities. And so you like go to a person in the city or in like the little Waddle Dee town, and you pay collectible money or whatever, and he'll upgrade one of your powers. So like you can have like your normal cutter ability, or you can have like dual like chakrams or whatever. So like it's just two of them, and you can switch like which one you will see when you're out and about. So like it's really cool like how it really does reward exploration. My main issue with it though is that there are certain goals in the levels, and it doesn't tell you the goals. It will tell you one of the goals if you like finish a level and you missed one. It will tell you just one of them. Because like if you were like missing two, it would just tell you one of them, and then you have to play again to uncover the other one. Because it's trying to reward that replay value. It really just wants you to keep playing levels and stuff. But the completionist in me just wants to do everything in one run, so that I don't have to worry about it. So I don't have to just play the same level and again, because that's what was
right.
happening on the stream. I didn't get past that first level for a little bit because I was just doing that first level because I couldn't find this like one little flower. Um, but like even with the boss, like for the first levels, first world, I guess, it's had different things that it didn't tell me. I guess one of them is like beat the boss under 2 minutes, and I keep doing that, which is nice. So like you can like do multiple goals and like achieve them. It's just a matter of like will they tell you all of them or not. Um, the last one I need to do for the first boss is don't die, essentially. Like just don't take any damage at all. Um, so I need to get my bomb ability and go and try to fight it, since bomb is the easiest to just throw away while you're not close to it at all. But Kirby's a good game. It just doesn't. It looks fine, but it's still 30 frames, and it just feels a little off.
Yeah,
Um, for like what it is, it shouldn't be 30 frames per second, but like it doesn't really affect the game. It's just more of me just noticing it because of how noticeable it is, because the game looks so good, and you look out into the sea and you're like, oh, that's chugging a little bit. or like enemies like in the background. You'll notice like it's doing the Pokemon Legends Arceus thing where like these enemies all the way back there are just going like 2 frames a second, just like clipping, and it's just crazy to me. But I mean, it works, and I guess like the game doesn't really take a whole lot of battery because like I've been playing it on like in bed, like before I go to bed a couple nights, and like normally Switch games like take a lot of battery, and this didn't. So yeah. Um, anyway, first 20 so minutes of this podcast is just what we've been playing, what we've been doing, and talking about nonsense. But honestly, the first couple of things we're going to talk about here are pretty short, I would say. The meat and potatoes of the episode is really that PlayStation stuff. So we're going to save that for last, since that's probably the thing we'll have the most to talk about. Oh yeah, I pulled up Puss in Boots.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah. So yeah. So let's see here. So we talked about that it's Kingdom Hearts' 20th anniversary, and Nomura did like a little sketch thing for it. So it looks kind of nice. There's like Xehanort there. There's the other Xehanort slash Ansems, and some people there. Marluxia. I forget that guy's name. um, uh, man, now I don't remember it. He's the card guy. Wow, I can't think of names right now, and that's Organization 13. Like, there's a lot of them, and I always forget their name. Luxord or Luxord. They call them different names depending on the game. I remember now. But yeah, and then like yeah, there's a couple Soras and stuff here. But yeah, 20 years, crazy, right?
You know, I remember a younger Ben with no kids working at FYE, and my boss at the time goes, "Hey, you gotta check this out." I go, "What is it?" And he's like, "It is this game called Kingdom Hearts, where it's like Square, Square. They weren't Square Enix, were they?
They're Square
Oh,
Soft.
that's Square Soft. So like he's like, you know, like Final Fantasy with Disney. And so I
Mm-hmm.
bought it. I bought it for PlayStation 2, and I mean, it was an awesome game. And even today, I've been playing through it on my casual time,
Yeah.
and it's still good. It still holds up.
The first one especially like very holds up. People like to give this whole series crap about like, oh, it's so confusing, there's so many things, whatever. Like, just pay attention, and like yes, it is like stupid and confusing, but like it's also really fun, and all the games pretty much are really fun. So just let us have fun. um, but I will say, like, the first one though is very self-contained. You don't need to play other ones in order to really understand it. But yeah, I'm happy that you're playing these games again, because like yeah, they're definitely a treat. I played Kingdom Hearts 2 last year on my PlayStation 5, and it was really really fun to play it there.
Yeah, and it's one that I know that I can play that's safe to have around my kids. I've got
Yeah,
younger kids. Uh, they were freaking out when they're like, "Daddy, it's Donald and it's Goofy," you know?
yeah.
Uh, and it's real Goofy, not the fake Goofy voice. Um, but I love those games, and I think the first one's my favorite just for the awesome summons. They try to get everybody in there.
Hmm.
Um, and the second one is my favorite when you get to go to Tron's World, which
Yeah.
when I was a kid, when we first got cable, there was this religious channel, and they used to show Disney movies
Hmm.
every night, and that's the first time I've ever watched the original Tron, was
Okay.
then. So,
Cool.
uh, loved that,
Yeah.
and I just think they're really well put together games. They're a mixture of, action they're an action RPG,
Hmm.
and they do a really good job of mixing Disney in there with Square Enix, characters.
Yeah. Um, I don't know when. I should have looked this up. I don't know when the actual event is, but I know it's next month. In April. For Kingdom Hearts. So like the anniversary like event, and so they're probably gonna talk about new like projects and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward. What I'd really like to see. Um, I know they've talked about it for a while, is an animated series or something for Disney
That'd be
Plus.
awesome.
Because like the Unreal Engine just works. You already have the models. Like you could just animate the games in with those if you really wanted
Yeah.
to. If you want to make an anime or whatever, like that's cool too. But like if you even just go the easy route, it'll still look really good.
Yeah, and I could see them doing that. I mean, Disney Plus is on fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all the stuff they have coming out. They announced Miss Marvel, and everything else, and then Moon Knight. We're recording on Tuesday, so Moon Knight I think comes out tomorrow. It was
Yeah,
getting really good reviews.
so I've heard.
I could see this going on Disney as them seeing like, oh, they just did Cuphead on Netflix.
Yeah,
They did a whole another series on Amazon. So I don't see why they wouldn't do something like that.
yeah, for sure. Like yeah, Disney definitely has really good original shows on their stuff, like even like animated shows and stuff too. Like new Proud Family is awesome. I always like the Proud Family, but the newest one is like really good. And I like the new like style and stuff. Like it doesn't feel cheap. That's why I'm always afraid of whenever you watch like a streaming service or something. You're like, oh, it's not gonna look as good because they don't care. There's not really a budget there. It's just kind of like this is an afterthought. Just do something.
I mean, the first time I watched The Mandalorian, I'm like, that's was my thought as well. I'm like, it's
Hmm.
gonna look. It does not. It looks like a legit movie. I mean, it
Yeah,
really,
exactly, which makes me hopeful for all these things like Moon Knight, because like that's gonna be, I hope, hopefully, it's gonna be awesome. But
well, it's not like they're getting like big name actors to do this.
yeah,
They're doing essentially a TV show, which you would never see them do. So yeah, I could see him doing Kingdom Hearts thing during before we got started. I was like, I guarantee they're working on a new Kingdom Hearts game for PS5
hmm,
and for Xbox Series X. I said 4 years from now we'll see one. Now it could be sooner. I would love one sooner.
I feel
Just
like
knowing,
we're gonna see something in the next couple years,
yeah. I
because
mean,
they've been silent for a while.
knowing their track record, it's going to take a while.
What might
But
happen? We might just get a Switch game because people are keep complaining about wanting Kingdom Hearts on the Switch natively, and so they'll be like, "You want it? Fine. Here's a special Kingdom Hearts that you get just for Switch."
if they did that, I would still buy it. I wouldn't
Yeah,
even care how much. I would pay $60
yeah.
because they would literally have to put them all on different. I mean, how much could you fit on one of those cartridges?
I don't know. I know they've increased the cartridge size. I think there's 64 gigabyte cartridges now, but yeah,
I
I
mean,
honestly don't know how much those cost now.
one and two are big. Three is really a big file.
Yeah,
Uh, the other ones aren't as big, but I mean, you're talking about multiple cartridges for these. But I would buy it if they had special edition. I would buy it.
yeah. What I really like to see is them try to go back maybe to the games that are just cutscenes, and maybe like they could just release those again, but just a little better, for Switch. So like 358 Days Over Two, or Recoded, yeah, Recoded. Like those aren't super great games, but they're also they're Kingdom Hearts on the go. They're what you want. So if you upgrade those and update those a bit, you could definitely put those on the Switch, and that'd be a cool little Easter egg, or cool thing for someone to do, for Square Enix to do. But I doubt we're gonna see that. Um, who knows? I feel like they're just gonna probably just focus on the newer stuff,
Right.
and they're focusing away from the Xehanort saga because that has now complete. Um, so yeah, it's probably gonna be all this not Noctis stuff. The Final Fantasy 13 versus um Yuzora, that's his name. Um yeah, because like there's crazy stuff like Final Fantasy versus 13 was a game that Nomura's working. He quit, or stopped something, let go. and started working on Kingdom Hearts 3 instead. And Final Fantasy 13 Versus became Final Fantasy 15. That's why Yozora looks a lot like Noctis and like all this other stuff. And if you look at the 13 Versus trailer and like the end of the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, they're very similar. It's just crazy stuff like that where like I don't know what we're gonna see. Um, but I'm excited for different IP, especially because like we might see Star Wars, we might see Marvel.
Yeah.
Um, because as far as Kingdom Hearts exists, so spoilers for Kingdom Hearts, I guess, but not really. This is just more of a conceptual thing that they kind of mention. It's stupid. But the end of the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, they talk about wait no. The end of the rhythm game, Melody of Memory, they talk about unreality, which is just like fictional worlds. So like there's light and darkness, and then there's like another dimension which is like fictional world. And that's where you go into in 3, like when you go into the video game where Yozora's from. It's kind of like that. Or it's and that's where we think that stuff happens at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, like the secret cutscene and stuff like that. So I don't know how much Disney we're gonna see in those games. If it is gonna be a new type of dimension, it might be more Star Wars or Boy Meets World. It could be like anything weird, like a live action even. Like I'm honestly not sure what it could be, but I think they might steer away unless they somehow go back to their own reality. Um, they might steer away from Disney stuff a little bit, or just make like certain Disney properties, like Disney Afternoon,
Right.
maybe like maybe just have that like in its own stuff in the fictional realm or something. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of speculating, but like, it does make you think like what's gonna be next for Kingdom Hearts, and I can't wait to see
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I also wanted to address this. Oh, that's interesting trending news. Well, I'm gonna look at this really quick. Flash's Ezra Miller arrested in Hawaii. Interesting. I'm not gonna click on that on this website though. Let's see here. So we have some. Man, there's so many ads on here. Kingdom Hearts Tamagotchis. So yeah, they're releasing these at some point. They look really nice. Um,
They're $20 a piece.
the 20. Okay.
Yeah, they are doing on the premium Bandai website, they're taking through May 5th, and they will ship in October.
Of course, it's premium
Uh,
Bandai. Okay.
However, it looks like the English version of the gadgets are not available.
I don't like premium Bandai because they all their stuff is pre-order only, and then they say like it might be messed up, but because we make them per order. What?
Yeah,
I really want to get the smartwatch thing on premium Bandai for Digimon. For Ghost
let's
Game,
do
they
that.
have
Yeah,
the Vital bracelet thing, and they have like the dim cards or whatever from Ghost Game, which is the newest anime for Digimon. Um, it's basically like those old Digivices that you had, except it's like a step counter thing. I mean, I guess it is like the old Digivices that you had since those were step counters. But it's more like it has an app and stuff like that, and like it actually like fitness tracks. So I think that'd be really cool to have. But yeah, they're like pre-order only, and you can't get them anymore right now. And it's all because it's all premium Bandai, and they're not English versions, but they're like the English version will be out soon, but that was the English release. It's all confusing. I hate it.
yeah.
So I'm kind of disappointed that this is through premium Bandai because
I
like
mean,
they
I'm on
seem
their
so
website
good.
now. It is very difficult to go through, and I'm even translating it through Google. Uh, it's just difficult to go
Yeah,
through. Those are super cool. I would love to have a couple,
yeah,
uh, but again, uh, I would tell our listeners if you love these things, and if you know you really want one, do not buy it on eBay because they will be double or triple the price.
Yeah, just go pre-order it right now if you really want to. Figure out how Premium Bandai works and go get it.
Yeah, good luck.
Yes.
It brought me to women's panties, so I don't know how that happened.
Okay, Bill Dotrieve. Hey, I just clicked it,
Yeah,
and there it is.
I typed in Kingdom Hearts and it brought me to women's underwear. So
Okay.
awesome.
All right. You know what else is not women's underwear? Um, Legend of Zelda, uh, Breath of the Wild sequel. It got let me mute that. It got delayed. Big big shocker.
Not
Um,
really.
oh, that's too big. But yeah, big shocker over here. So, um, yeah, they showed a little bit in this little video here on Twitter. Yeah, spring 2023 is when it's coming out now. So okay, I
But
expected it.
is that a bad news? I mean, yes, it sucks. But again,
But
I'd
does
rather
it?
have
But does it suck? Because like, I mean, sure, I guess, but like, also, I'm so confused. Like, who actually thought this was coming out this year?
I don't know.
I didn't, and I feel like a lot of Nintendo fans are fickle and stupid most of the time. I'm a Nintendo fan, and I say that. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
them are just like, "Whoa, what? This isn't coming out this year. It was supposed to come out this year." They always expect too much from Nintendo, and then Nintendo does something like this, and then they're disappointed. And it's,
I mean,
well, what do you expect?
you know, as we've seen in the past, games this size do not need to be rushed whatsoever. Take your time with it, get
Yeah,
it right.
look at
Yes,
that
we got
fake Miyamoto quote or whatever. It was confirmed to be fake recently. The
yeah.
finished game is all I don't know. A rush game is always bad, something like that. You know, I'm talking about like that quote. Yeah. Um,
Are you sure it wasn't like someone's talking about Cyberpunk? No?
I'm pretty sure it was a long time ago. It was in like a game. I don't know, not a Game Informer, something Game Pro magazine, I think, or something like even older than that. But yeah, like you're saying, yeah, a game uh rush, like you shouldn't rush things like this. You should definitely take
Take
your
your time
time
with
on
it.
it. Yeah, and it'll be better because of that.
I know
Yeah.
with them doing this, I'll have time to actually play the first one. I've yet to play any of the first one.
Here's the thing though. Are you actually going to play the first one?
I want to, but when I do put on my Switch, I play right now the 2 games I play, like, almost religiously is Animal Crossing and then Super Robot Wars.
Well, when I
That's it.
am done with Kirby, I recommend you play Kirby because I think you really enjoy it. It's just a nice, fun, chill game. Honestly, I think because of how easy it is and stuff, um, like any sort of like aged kid can enjoy it. Like it's not too taxing. I don't, honestly, Kirby, like your wife might enjoy Kirby.
Uh, right now, I'm training my 5-year-old how to beat, Ghosts and Goblins on my arcade one up. He got to level 2 the other day.
Nice.
That is the furthest anybody has gotten in this household. I have gotten to the first boss
Mm-hmm.
on the first world, and then I got killed. It's but his memory is spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanna say, like, this is really bad, but this when the holiday season comes again this year, I have a physical list of games that I want to go back and play
Mm-hmm.
that I've not played, and this is one of them. Now that I own, like, a really nice Switch,
Yeah.
uh, you know, this is what I wanna play.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, get through what I can of it. My attention span over the years has gotten really bad. Um, the only game that's been able to hold me so well is Ghost Toshima, and I platinumed it the second time around, and then I went back to do there's a whole bunch of there's like 3 trophies I haven't done on the one new island,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, "Eh, I platinumed it. What else do I need to do?" Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I finished the story. So, but, like, I do wanna go back and play it, and I wanna play it because I don't really have anything like, this is, like this news, I was like, eh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was waiting for this news to show up because like I knew that we weren't gonna see this, or if we were, it was gonna be a E3 thing maybe, and then get delayed.
Right.
But so this makes me wonder. Like E3's not happening this year.
No.
But it makes me wonder what Nintendo is gonna focus on for E3 because generally they focus on one particular game and show it off like crazy. Like Metroid was one of them. It's probably the big one last year that they showed off a lot. Um, and because yeah, they didn't show Pokemon really. That's more of the Pokemon company. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. I wonder what they're gonna show this year then. Because who knows? But yeah, that's all with Nintendo. I'm done with this Nintendo news. We're gonna go to the meat and potatoes, as I called it earlier. Um, PlayStation Plus. It comes from the PlayStation blog. PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now come together. Players can choose from 3 flexible options. I should put that in quotes. Flexible should be in
Yeah.
quotations. So I'm just going to read this really quick from Jim Ryan, President and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment. Since launching PlayStation Plus in 2010, SIE has been at the forefront of innovation with game subscription services. We were thrilled to be the first console membership service that included a refreshed library of games through PlayStation Plus, and also launched the first console game streaming service with PlayStation Now. Today, we're pleased to share with you official news about changes coming to our subscription services. This June, we're bringing together PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now in an all-new PlayStation Plus subscription service that provides more choice to customers across the 3 membership tiers globally. Our focus is on providing high quality, curated content with a diverse portfolio of games. Below is an overview of the 3 membership tiers.
Now this leaked not too long ago,
Yeah.
and I saw it and I was like, this actually does look pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I'm not surprised by any of it. The pricing though that they were saying was like the top tier was gonna be $20 a month. I said, no, that's way too high. They're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we could definitely go through some these here. I mean, if you have PlayStation Plus, it looks like it's not gonna change at all.
Yeah. PlayStation Plus Essential, which essentially is just the regular PlayStation Plus, provides the same benefits that PlayStation Plus members are getting today, such as 2 monthly downloadable games, exclusive discounts, cloud storage, online multiplayer. There are no changes for existing PlayStation Plus members in this tier. Price for PlayStation Plus Essential remains the same as the current price for PlayStation Plus. So it's going to be $10 monthly, $24.99 quarterly, or $59.99 yearly. So yeah, just basically just the same thing again. PlayStation Plus Extra, which is the main one, provides all the benefits from the Essential tier. So you're getting your normal PlayStation Plus stuff, but then you're also getting a catalog, adds a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in the extra tier are downloadable for play. This is $15 monthly, $40 quarterly, about $100 yearly. And then, yeah, and if you always notice with PlayStation, I guess Sony does this too. Oh wait, they are. Nintendo does this too. The month-to-month prices are more expensive than just buying an annual fee.
Yeah,
It's like $15 does not equate to $100. So if you want this deal, honestly, I'd recommend doing the $99 because then you're getting a way better deal if you can afford that. Because I mean, it's possible that you can only afford a few months of whatever service and then you turn it off and then you turn it back on, because people do that with other streaming services. The big one, PlayStation Plus Premium provides all the benefits from the essential and extra tiers, so you're getting all that old stuff, and then as well as the PS4 and PS5 games. Adds up to 340 additional games, including PS3 games available via cloud streaming. They should put in like parentheses because we can't figure out how that architecture works.
Yeah.
So you cannot download the games. A catalog of beloved classic games available in both streaming and downloadable options from the original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP generations. Notice how there's no Vita. It's kind of interesting. Offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games. Offered in the extra and premium tier markets, where PlayStation Now is currently available. Customers can stream games using PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC. Time-limited game trials will also be offered in this tier, so customers can try games before they buy. So that's interesting that you get game trials. Nintendo does this with their normal service where if you have Nintendo online membership, like you can play like The World Ends With You had one like
Right.
last year or something where it's like, here, you play The World Ends With You for a little bit for a weekend and see how you like it.
I think this is interesting because, yet again, the price here, uh, if you do monthly, it's for the top tier, it's $17.99 monthly,
Mm-hmm.
$50 quarterly, or $119.99 yearly.
Yeah.
That's not a bad price because if you look and see what it costs to have the Xbox, um, Game Pass, it's quite a bit more than that
Yeah.
yearly. Um, I can't remember the math we did on it the other day.
It's like 180.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 190.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a significant cheaper value. Now, what I thought they were going to do was going to throw in like an anime streaming service, but from the look of it, this is going to be PlayStation Now. So whether you do the premium or you do the extra, you're going to get PlayStation Now, is what it
Mm-hmm.
looks like to me. And then on top of that, they're adding more because I can tell you right now, I don't think there's a lot of games. I don't know. I haven't been on PlayStation Now in a long time. I did like a trial a long time
I did a
ago.
trial a long time ago on PS3 where they're like, "Do you want to play Catherine or Ben 10?" I was like, "I guess," and it was horrible.
Yeah. So I don't know how many there, but this is a total of like 740 games would be available.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, if you have a PlayStation Plus for years, like there was a lot of comments of like, "Well, I have PlayStation Plus for, you know, the next 3 years." Um, that's not going to affect anything. I mean, you
it's
could still get.
not, but I wonder if there's like a way that you can like prorate it so like you can pay whatever it costs extra to just upgrade. Like I'm sure there's going to be some sort of upgrade price come
Oh, of
June
course.
for all of us who want to upgrade to it. Because otherwise, that's just a slap in the face. Ba-doomts. um, but yeah, so it's interesting that I've heard like other podcasts and other things like that, news stories talk about how the premium stuff, the highest tier has all of the extra stuff, all the classic stuff, but then the mid tier has the PS4 and the PS5 games, which honestly kind of makes sense because your normal consumer is probably just going to want the newer games and that's it. Whereas a PlayStation person or like a retro game enthusiast will want those other games and they will pay more for those. Um, so it makes sense on that is in the higher tier.
Yeah.
The downside of this though is that of all this is that first party games are not coming immediately to the service because Jim Ryan had talked about it in GameIndustry.biz, I think it was like a article about that, like an interview, and basically they're talking about how it kind of devalues their games. I think that's kind of like how they feel about it, because like a lot of marketing, like obviously like a lot of marketing and like money goes into making these things, and like they don't want to seem like cheap and just like make things just for a streaming service. How we were talking about earlier with like Disney Plus, where like
Right.
they are actually making really good stuff here and could do it at a loss if they needed to, but they're not. They're succeeding. Sony isn't Disney. Sony isn't Microsoft. So they have to I don't know, keep their guard up a little bit, and it makes total sense.
I mean, if I was to do this premium, it's gonna cost me an extra $60 a year. Now, I know people are gonna call me out for the podcast we talked about the Nintendo Online because I was complaining about that price range of $80.
Yeah.
The difference here is there's a whole lot more games here. A lot. If you do this premium
Yeah.
package, now you're looking at 740 games. I'm guessing that's day one.
How many of these games though are actually going to be good? So I really want to see a list at some point. Like
Oh, I'm sure
if
they will.
if they, because like PSP has me really interested. Because there are a lot of games like Persona 3 Portable, any of those Persona games. Honestly, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core has never been released anywhere except the PSP, and that is it. It's not even digital on PSP, so you couldn't even get it on your Vita. Um, so like, yeah, I'm curious what's gonna be on here and what's gonna make it worth it.
I mean, not only that, there was those specific God of Wars that were a different story that were only on PSP.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. Yeah,
I
what?
mean, for me, I want to see a list, but if it's PlayStation Now, I will tell you right now that I was on there just to kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
They have that what is it? That third Batman game that
Oh,
came out for PlayStation 3 that another company did.
yeah,
Um,
Arkham. Yeah,
the one that takes place Christmas Eve.
yeah,
That game is
yeah,
fantastic, and
Arkham
being able to
Origins. Yeah.
yes, play that on my PS5 with cloud saves and trophies and all that,
Yeah,
uh, would be awesome. I would love to play that on my PS5.
or even play on your PC. You could stream it and stream it to your PC. I don't know how the streaming works nowadays for PlayStation Now, but to have the ability to install these games on your system makes it a lot better. Because like I know like they have Gaikai and stuff like that, or like same thing with like my Xbox. Like they're doing like the testing for like how you can stream stuff for your Xbox instead of just downloading things. I haven't tried that yet, but it's going to be worse than downloading it to your actual system. Um,
Right.
so I'm curious to see what all we're getting, and this is already better than PlayStation Plus, just
Yeah,
by a
definitely.
long shot.
Well,
But yeah,
we were talking yesterday about, like, what PlayStation games could show up on here. On PlayStation 1, uh, Dino Crisis 1 and 2 could show up. Mega Man Legends was on PlayStation 1. Um, PlayStation
yeah,
2 had a ton of, like, great games. Um,
yeah. So here's the thing that they're not talking about. Nintendo has never talked about, and Xbox kind of talks about, is that things come to Game Pass for Xbox, but they also disappear. How many of these games are going to stay here forever versus not? Because as far as we know for Nintendo, online for like the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Genesis, those games are there to stay indefinitely until that service
right.
dies, because they have never said otherwise of like those games disappear. Um, unless they have. But I've never seen that. None of these games have disappeared at all through these through this whole time the Switch has been out, since these NES games and stuff have been out, and like a lot of them are third party games too. So like, there's clearly some sort of deal there. With Sony, yeah, how many of these third party games? Because that's PS2 is majority of third party. Same thing with like PSP and stuff, and even PlayStation. So like Metal Gear, for example, if we're getting Metal
Oh,
Gear on
yeah.
the PlayStation, how long is that gonna be there?
How awesome would that be?
Persona, like, yeah,
I
it'd be
mean,
great. Yeah.
oh my gosh, to be able to play the Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1, oh god, that would be so much fun. I was so good at that game at one point. The other thing is it could do what they do now with, like, PlayStation Now, as long as it's in your library, it's good to go.
Hmm.
Which I love that feature because I always day one, PlayStation Plus, I put them all in my library, whether I want it or not.
Yeah.
And then it's there. And then once it's in your library, it doesn't have to download right away, but you can download it. And I'm thinking that's what they're going to do here. Um, I was looking at the PlayStation Now list just randomly. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there that is really, really good,
Hmm.
but there's not like in the hundreds of games. I mean, there really isn't. I would say like maybe 120, 150, maybe
Yeah.
top.
Um, so in this PlayStation blog here, um, yeah, with it talks about the new and extra premium tiers represent a major evolution for PlayStation Plus. With these tiers, our key focus is to ensure that the hundreds of games we offer will include the best quality content that sets us apart. At launch, we plan to include titles such as Death Stranding, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Mortal Kombat 11, and Returnal. The game that I sold, I get it back. Um, we're working closely with our I can't talk developers from PlayStation Studios and third-party partners to include some of the best gaming experiences available with a library that will be regularly refreshed. Okay. More deals to come on the games. We'll have our new PlayStation Plus service. Regularly refreshed. I don't like that. Never mind. That's scaring me. That's giving me fear of like worse than Game Pass. We're like, hey, do you want to play Persona 4, a long game? Well, you only got a month to do it.
I still think they'll keep with their pattern of you can add it to your library.
I don't think
Um,
they're gonna do that for these. I honestly don't, because it's a streaming service. Because you don't add PlayStation Now games to your library.
you can download some of them though.
Yeah, you can download some of them, but it's kind of like Game Pass, where like it will say probably like whatever. Like with Game Pass, when you download a Game Pass game, it says Game Pass in the bottom right or bottom left of it on an Xbox. Um,
I
I
think,
would hope they would, but who
yeah,
knows?
I think they'll be smart about it because obviously you're not going to take a game like Persona that is several hours and give people a month. Um, like the ones that
Yeah.
Game Pass are always like small games or
Well, Game Pass like it had Yakuza on there for a while, and then they're like, hey, they're all going away, and
yeah,
then some of them did just kind of disappear, and just kind of no heads up. There's like, hey, these games are going to be gone here really quick.
I
Um,
do I do hope if they talked about PC, they make it like Game Pass. So I could download an app and I can play it. I could download it on my PC if I wanted to.
it's only streaming, I believe. They said
Like,
PC is only streaming, as far as I can tell.
that's my only fear because I feel like with streaming, um, it's 50-50.
Yeah,
But
there's three stars here, so let's check down here. PC streaming is not available in Japan at launch and will be supported in a future update. Okay, so yeah, it's streaming only for PC.
I mean, I think they have a good enough library. Like I said, like there's so many on PlayStation 1 that were the birth of things. Twisted Metal,
Hmm.
you know, we had Twisted Metal Black on PlayStation 2, which is not the same as the original Twisted Metal. Um, we have um, Brave Fencer Musashi, Tenshu. That whole series was on there, and then it never came back.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just, I guess I'm building myself up to hope that they're going to have a lot of this, and that's going to make my decision whether I do the premium or I do the extra.
What I feel like, honestly, it's probably going to be mostly all of their games that they have available through the PS3 and Vita. Um, and PSP, like all of those digital games, it's just like you can just play them now. For the
I can
most
see
part,
that.
because that'd just be easier. But yeah, I honestly don't know how many or what all games are gonna show up. It'd be cool to see all these, but I feel like there's gonna be some sort of catch at a certain point. So until we see more information, it's a lot of speculation.
And I
So
think
yeah,
I think because they talk about June, where, in June, that's where E3 would be. I would say, um, in May, we'll see some sort of, state of play. We'll
last
see a
year
state
we
of
saw last year I think the year before is when we saw state of play for May. Like that's when
yeah.
we've been seeing them. So yeah, I expect something there. Probably just something that talks about all of this, and I'm looking I'm looking forward to it because I'm still kind of iffy on it, but like you're giving me an annual subscription fee. That's more than Sony. That's more than Microsoft can give me. Um, and that makes me mad, even though I have an Xbox. But yeah, I'm hopeful for the service. I'm hoping that I can play a lot of cool games and download them and stream them and all that kind of stuff. Or stream them for Twitch, not stream them. But yeah, like I know they're not gonna do it, but it'd be cool if like, oh, you can play Dot Hack now. All these games that are stuck over here, you can play
Yeah,
them.
you don't want that because then those prices will totally drop
I
on
don't
those.
care though. I would like people to play all these games.
I mean, that's the crazy thing, is, like, until they provide a list, that 340 or whatever it was, yeah, the 340 additional games, I think that's just at launch, so it should be interesting, what they get, like, what all happens. Uh, I guarantee that they're gonna go through and say, "Hey, the list is up," or, "Here's some of our big titles."
Yeah,
Um, you know, but I think May, you're gonna see a big state of play, and this is gonna be one of the talking points, and then they're gonna talk about whatever's coming out before holiday.
yeah.
They're gonna do a big push for this for holiday, I will tell you right now. Because as a parent, if my son's like, "Yeah, dad, it's $120 and I get like 700 games," and that's yeah, I'll be like, "You know what? That's not bad." Especially when like 2 full price brand new games are $60 a piece. Yeah.
Well, also you can use this on PS4 systems as well, and we know that they're making more PS4s since PS5s are they cost a lot to make and they're less available. So like yeah, you could market this instead. Just be like, hey, you can't find any PS5 games and stuff like that or PS5 systems. Well, here's a bunch of bang for your buck. You can do like this instead and give your kid like this for a few months or just pay for it.
And yeah, I think 400 of PS4 and PS5 games, plus getting the 2 free monthly downloads that you're gonna get from PS Plus.
Hmm.
I mean, it really does pay for itself.
Yeah, for sure.
I have always found when they raised the price and it went to $60 that it paid for itself. I've never once felt, "Oh, this is a total ripoff," when they raise prices or whatever. Um, I am debating between the 2 different ones, and it's really gonna depend on what they have. Like, if they say, "Look, these are all the games that are gonna be on the, for this, the premium versus the other," that's gonna make my decision. I mean, it's to be honest, it's only a $20 difference between the 2.
Yeah, it really is. Depending on how you do it, but yeah, annually. Yeah. So, um, yeah, I'm probably just gonna go big and do the big one. But yeah, it
Yeah,
really just
I'll
depends
say it
on
up.
those games. I trust them as far as a digital platform goes to release the correct versions of games as well. But that PlayStation 1 Classic Edition where it had PAL ROMs and they ran at weird frame rates, like that still scares me. I'm scared we might get something like that on this stupid thing.
I don't know, I bought my PlayStation Classic, and then I bought a thumb drive and hacked it, so it was
Mm,
actually pretty good at that point because it had all the original,
yeah.
like, versions.
Mm,
The only problem is I did not get a DualShock with it, and you can't find a DualShock that'll work on it. That's what sucks.
oof. Yeah. Mm,
So half of the games later in the PlayStation cycle needed a dual stick,
yeah.
and you didn't have it.
Yep, you need something for Ape Escape. Um anyway, yeah, that's PlayStation here. There's not really much else to say. It's still speculation. I feel like we're kind of a record on repeat of what we've been saying for the past few minutes. But it's definitely interesting. There's not enough data yet, but once we hear more about it, then we can for sure give you our thoughts on it and go from there. Um, Shout out of the week is still RPGaymer. Check out that episode where we talk about our top RPGs, and where we were limited to PlayStation games because Ben told me PlayStation, and then he told our guest Patrick, "Oh, any RPG."
This is what happens with lack of sleep, and,
Yeah,
after I did it, I was like, "Oh, I messed up." Like, soon as he started talking, I was, like, so embarrassed because Alex is like, "Wait, that's not what we talked about." And, like, I had conversations with Alex, like, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna send him."
yeah,
So, yeah, we're hoping to get Patrick back on some other time, to do some episodes. Uh, you know, I know at some point we want to get our buddy Zach on. Even our buddy Spencer has said that he wants to get back on an episode at some point.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure. Definitely be fun. But yeah, check out Patrick and all of them at RPGaymer. RPGaymer. We'll have a link in our descriptions and stuff. I think it's just rpgamer.com. I think that's what it is. But
yeah, I think so.
yeah, just take a look at the links. We'll have it there somewhere. But anyway, do you have anything else to say today?
Uh, nothing more than just saying, get at it.
Get at it.